Okay, in example number 5 now, we're going to go ahead and subtract complex numbers, and it's very similar to adding them, except now we're just going to have to distribute our negative sign, which you've done something very similar from last class. All right, so check this out right here. Okay, anytime that we're going to subtract some kind of number or numbers or terms, we always need to distribute this negative sign. So think of this as like a -1 times 4 plus I. And we know that from the distributive property, whatever's on the outside of the parentheses, I have to distribute it, right? I have to multiply -1 times 4 and then -1 times I. So in the same way, we have to do that right now. Before we can combine like terms, if there's a minus sign, not when it's plus, but when there's a minus sign, we need to distribute that. Okay, so I'm going to just drop this down right here. -1 plus 2i, but then I'm going to do -1 times 4, which is a -4, and then -1 times a positive I is a -I. Okay, now we can combine like terms. -1 and -4. If I do -1 minus 4, that's a -5. And if I do 2i minus I, well, that's just going to be plus I. And that's the answer right there. For example B, again, since it's a minus sign, we need to distribute that minus sign. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite the first terms, 8 minus 5i, but then I'm going to make this negative times a positive is a -12, and a negative times a negative gives us a positive. Okay, so really the only trick here is just to make sure that when you notice that there's a minus sign, you have to distribute it first, and then we combine like terms. 8 and -12, so it's -4, and then -5i plus 3i is a -2i, and that's how that works there.